Next up, let's shift focus to what's happening in the West. The US has escalated its tussle with Europe over EU's crackdown on American tech firms. Now, US State Department has denied visas to a former EU commissioner and 4 others, accusing them of seeking to coerce American social media platforms into censoring viewpoints they oppose. The measure targeted Thierry Breton, former top tech regulator at the European Commission, who often clashed with tech tycoons such as Elon Musk over their obligations to follow EU rules. Now, the US State Department described Breton as the mastermind of the European Union's Digital Services Act, a major piece of legislation that imposes content moderation and other standards on major social media platforms operating in Europe. Breton called the restrictions a witch hunt. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio backed the decision, accusing ideologues in Europe have led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to punish American viewpoints they oppose. He added that the Trump administration will no longer tolerate these egregious acts of extraterritorial censorship. Now, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot condemned the visa restrictions, adding that Europe cannot let the rules governing their digital space be imposed by others upon them. He added that the DSA was democratically adopted in Europe. It has absolutely no extraterritorial reach and in no way affects the United States. The DSA has become a bitter rallying point for US conservatives who see it as a weapon of censorship against right-wing thought in Europe and beyond, an accusation that the EU furiously denies. The DSA stipulates that major platforms must explain content moderation decisions, provide transparency for users, and ensure researchers can carry out essential work such as understanding how much children are exposed to dangerous content. Washington has scaled up its attacks on EU regulations after Brussels earlier this month fined Elon Musk's platform X for violating DSA rules on transparency. Last week, the US government signaled that key European businesses could be targeted in response. And there's more on this from my colleague Susan Tehrani, who sent us this report from New York. Let's listen in.
This move by the U.S. State Department signals a broader shift in how Washington is framing global information power by sanctioning foreign officials and activists accused of pressuring U.S. tech platforms to censor content. The administration is effectively redefining free speech as a national security issue. The argument from Washington is that foreign governments are no longer just regulating their own digital spaces, they're shaping narratives that affect American political discourse as well. But Europe is pushing back. They say it's digital laws and they are about platform accountability and not censorship, and also have no extraterritorial intent. But the bigger picture here is a growing transatlantic rift over who sets the rules of the digital order and whether information control is becoming the next front line in geopolitical competition at the end of the day.